Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm really looking forward to talking with you about how your emotional saboteurs may be holding you back or preventing you from reaching your goals for 2024. I have some notes on my screen to the left, so I'll be referring to them every once in a while. But first, I would really love to know, where are you tuning in from? Love to know so that you can so that I can say hello to you. Say good morning. I'm on the East Coast and of the US. So tell me, where are you tuning in from? Okay. So here we are, mid-year 2024. There are about 100 days left to 100 work days left until the end of 2024. And maybe you've asked yourself, or you need to ask yourself, where are you on progress that you've set for 2024? Um, and the point of that is to just check in with yourself, do a little audit, and then come up with an action plan of what you might do to get yourself back on track, or can help yourself continue to make the progress and move the needle forward that you intend for this year. Um, so if you are feeling a little off track, especially I feel like in summertime, um, it's easy to maybe want to take a break, or just say to yourself, I'll get back on track in the fall. The beauty is, though, you can still take advantage of summertime, but also prepare and gather some tools that will help you make sure that you reach those goals that you set for the year. So, just starting off with a couple of stats that might help set the scene for us. Um, it's not unusual for people to abandon goals. 23% quit within the first month. That's a little harder sometimes when there are goals related to work. And 36%, so over a third, abandon goals maybe within 3 to 6 months. What's one of the reasons that that might be the case? It could be those small whispers in your brain, in my brain, that are giving us all kinds of reasons why we shouldn't pursue those goals. Maybe they seem too hard. Maybe you might fail. Maybe you've never been able to reach this goal before. So why would this time be different? Um, those emotional saboteurs, inner critic, inner voice that tell you for some reason this isn't going to work out for you. When that inner critic, that inner voice, those whispers happen, when they start getting louder and louder, it can make us want to just give up and say, you know, don't try so hard. Don't play so big. Don't think that you're so special that you'll be able to reach these goals. I don't know if that's happened to you, but it certainly happens to me. So let's ask another question. Um, which do you find more challenging, setting goals or achieving goals? Uh, for me, I'm a pretty good planner. Also, I can dream big. And so I wouldn't say I have problems setting goals. The challenge comes for me sometimes in achieving the goals, especially if they're a big reach for me. So, what about you? Which do you find more challenging, setting goals or achieving goals? If you're out there and you're listening to me, I'd love for you to engage a little bit, so that I know I'm not talking just into the stratosphere. Which is more challenging for you, setting goals or achieving goals? Okay, so um, what do we mean by these emotional saboteurs? What are some common types? Common types include that inner critic, that judge that either judges you, others, or circumstances, the procrastinator, the perfectionist, the avoider, the pleaser, and the controller. As I say those words, do any of them maybe ring a bell for you? Does it sound like, oh, yeah, that's me? I'd say a common one when it comes to goal setting is procrastinating, pushing it off. So maybe you're thinking, well, it's only mid-year. I've got 100 days. Why start now? You're procrastinating because there's something about that avoider saboteur that's trying to keep you safe somehow. How do you recognize these emotional saboteurs? Two primary ways. One is you can look for patterns when you notice that you're judging yourself, or as I mentioned, others or circumstances. So, are you noticing there's some mental chatter that's saying this goal's too big? You're not going to be able to do it. Or what if you fail and then you look like you're not capable, or you're not ready for that next promotion, or whatever it is, the next step, and your emotional saboteurs are saying to you, you're not good enough, you can't do it, or the time's not right. All these various circumstances are going to make it extra hard for you. So maybe you should just postpone until circumstances get better. Or maybe you need some help from some coworkers or your manager. Maybe those relationships aren't what you think you need in order to make progress on your goals. So that's one way. Looking for those thought patterns, behavior patterns. Maybe you can see yourself procrastinating. Maybe you realize you've got these big goals somewhere in your planning system, but there's this little voice in your head saying, don't put that on your weekly plan yet, or your monthly plan yet. It's too soon. It's not the right time. Okay, second way you can find out more about what emotional saboteurs may be holding you back is Positive Intelligence's saboteur assessment. They actually have a research-based free assessment on their website at positiveintelligence.com/saboteurs that will tell you what are the predominant saboteurs that could be impacting your ability to reach your goals. We all have the saboteur called the judge. I really just mentioned that in terms of judging yourself, judging others, judging circumstances. Then there are 9 other saboteurs that that kind of rise up and form all that negative chatter in your brain. For me, my top saboteurs are pleaser, hyperachiever, and then I have a tie between avoider and stickler. And at any given time, I can see those saboteurs hijacking my brain and making it so that it's challenging for me to make progress towards my goals. In fact, I'll tell you a little story. This is the second live I've done. And yesterday, I did one on Sunday. Uh, it was challenging, but I made it through. And then yesterday, I'd scheduled to do another one. And my brain was like, what are you doing? Why are you pushing yourself out of your comfort zone so much? And so my avoider really, really showed up. And to be quite honest, I didn't do yesterday's live. I rescheduled it for tomorrow. Um, I just, some when that anxiety and that stress, comes up, we either want to fight, we want to flight, take off, or freeze. And I would say I froze, just couldn't do it. I'm not particularly proud of that. And to be honest, that's my hyperachiever because I like to be perfect and do the things that I set out to do, reach those small goals and big goals. But anyway, that's what happened. Um, I my emotional saboteurs hijacked me yesterday afternoon and kept me from reaching the goal of going live. And yeah, it was challenging. And I'll tell you in a little bit, obviously, I'm back. And so I can tell you what I'm doing so that I could come back this morning. And I'll be back tomorrow as well because I have a better understanding of what happened. So that's my story for now. What I want to know from you is which saboteur do you think impacts you more? Your inner critic or your procrastinator? That judge that's either telling you there's something not right about yourself, others, or the circumstances. While you're thinking about that, I would love it if you would give this live a like so that you can help the algorithm know that this might be something worth listening to, and it'll help push this live out to more people so that they can learn some tools, learn some more about emotional saboteurs that may be holding them back from reaching their 2024 goals. So which saboteur do you think impacts you more? Inner critic or procrastinator? Or maybe both. I have to say, I can get sabotaged by both, just as I mentioned, happened to me yesterday. Okay, so I've talked a little bit about how my saboteurs impacted me yesterday. And they're with me this morning, no doubt. I can feel them and I can hear them, but I'm choosing to coexist with them and push through. So yesterday, my saboteurs prevented me from achieving the goal of going live for a second time. And it actually took me away from all of my work for a couple of hours before I could get back on track. And while it wasn't alive, I was able to do other work that contributed to quieting those emotional saboteurs and getting back on track for knowing for sure that I was going to go live this morning. Sometimes the saboteurs also contribute to um, self-sabotaging behaviors. So maybe choosing to get so engrossed in some other activity, kind of telling yourself, well, I'm still working, this is important. I wasn't ready to go live. I wasn't prepared. So I'm going to spend more time making my plan better developed. And that's really a good use of my time. So those busy behaviors instead of the actual behavior that you want to be doing that will help you reach your goals. And just plain giving up, which is what I did yesterday. And again, that's hard to say, but it's what happened. And it will definitely happen again, if not with this goal, with some other goal that I set. But that's part of the process of pushing yourself, of setting those reach goals, getting out of your comfort zone. Friend said to me yesterday, you don't strike me as somebody who just wants to stay in her comfort zone. And when he said that, I thought, well, that is true. I'm willing to push outside of my comfort zone. So doing things and gaining understanding, self-awareness, and tools that will help quiet the emotional saboteurs, that will reduce the self-sabotaging behaviors or giving up. Mentioned how my emotional saboteurs impacted my performance yesterday. Emotional saboteurs can also impact your well-being and your relationships. And both of those things are just as important as how you're performing in order to reach your goals. So, are you in conflict with someone? Are you worried about the goal you're trying to achieve? So you're micromanaging other people's behaviors because you feel that's the only way you can reach the goal. Are you not taking any breaks, pushing so hard to reach goals that you're not taking care of your health, your well-being? You're not sleeping, you're working too much, you're not paying attention to your energy cycles and when you have the most energy, so when you can do your best work. All of these things are impacted by emotional saboteurs and can prevent us from reaching our goals. So let's talk a minute about what's going on in your brain when these emotional saboteurs hijack you. Disclaimer, I am not a scientist, and what I'm going to say is very high level, and it's also how I think about it. So if anybody has a better explanation or why mine is really missed the mark, I'd love to hear it. But here's how I think about it. I think about there's a region in our brain that's all about survival. It's all about keeping us safe. And so when we do things that our brain thinks might put us at risk, might cause us to fail, be embarrassed, uh, be disappointed in ourselves, it wants to keep us safe, and it starts telling us all the reasons why we should not step out of our comfort zone. There is a way. So that's in the left side of our brain. There is a way to disrupt those thoughts, those patterns, those behaviors, actions, all of that. And basically, it's tuning into your mind-body connection with something such as deep breaths. And so what you're doing is you're unhooking your brain from that survival place, and it allows you to connect with another region in your brain on the right side, which is where you can thrive, which is where you can access empathy, curiosity, the ability to go ahead and take action, not be held back by the survival part of your brain, telling you, stay safe, that's what's best here. So again, very, very simplistic description, but that's how I think about it. And that's how, that's what helps me. So as I mentioned, doing this live is stressful for me. And, you know, my emotional saboteurs are wanting to keep me safe. And, you know, I can feel actually the stress hormones. I can feel in the pit of my stomach some butterflies. All of those things that the left side of my brain saying, whoa, whoa, this is out of your comfort zone. Something bad might happen. It's telling me it really would be okay if you didn't do a live, and if you didn't try and reach more people and try and offer something you've learned that's helped. So a tool that's been really important for me to manage my emotional saboteurs is called positive intelligence. Um, I mentioned the assessment that they have that helps you learn about your top saboteurs. And it's helped me recognize my saboteurs. It's helped give me some techniques that will disconnect, again, from that left survival part of my brain to get over to the right side of my brain where my sage powers are. That's the way positive intelligence talks about it. And so this mind-body connection can be something as simple as taking deep breaths, or what I love about positive intelligence is they actually have an app that has a mental fitness gym in it that has very short mind-body exercises that you can do throughout the day to try to um, manage the stress, manage the emotional saboteurs, and be able to access the sage part of your brain. And the more you do it, the stronger your mental fitness gets, the stronger your mental resilience gets, and the faster you can access those sage powers of empathy, exploration, uh, innovation, navigation, and activation. So I'm wondering let's ask another question. Have you ever heard of positive intelligence, PQ? It is it's similar and built on the research of emotional intelligence. But what is very different about it is this app. And I try and use the app every day. Does not take long. You could do everything, go through a whole daily cycle, so to speak, across your day in a total of like 15 minutes. Um, so, have you heard of positive intelligence before? Yes or no? Let me know. All right, so back to my story. How have I used positive intelligence to help me show up to do this live today? Um, The first thing is last night I realized what the problem was. It's like, oh my gosh, you're doing all these new things. You're recording videos. You're doing lives. You're really making yourself visible, and you could push through the first time. But now your brain is like, what the heck are you doing? Why are you making us do all of this? Why are you making us do these hard things? It would be so much easier if you just stayed in our nice little comfort zone where everything is safe, everything is status quo. So the first thing I did was I gave myself some empathy. I went over into the sage part of my brain and just said, it's okay. It's all right. You will try again today or tomorrow. And here I am. I also got curious and started asking myself questions like, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? And actually, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm just talking out there to anybody who would like to learn a little bit more about how their saboteurs, their emotional saboteurs, may be preventing them from reaching their 2024 goals. I also, back to the empathy, have been able to tell myself this morning, not only is nothing bad going to happen, but you're learning. You're just learning. And I am. And I get a lot of credit for that. And so those sage powers help me work through being able to take the action to show up. I'll give you another example. Another sage power is navigation, which is aligning your behaviors with my values. And as I mentioned, that friend yesterday said to me, you don't really strike me as somebody who only wants to stay in her comfort zone. And that was a reminder to connect with my values, which is to just be me and show up, be authentic, and that I am a calculated risk taker and that I'm not somebody. Those aren't my values to just stay safe. So that's what I was able to do. I was able to use the sage powers of positive intelligence to quiet those emotional saboteurs from yesterday and show up this morning as I am, and living with those emotional saboteurs in my head, in my body, but quieting them. And I can tell I'm already feeling better just by telling you what I did. Okay, so let's wrap this up some. What are some actions that you could take if you're realizing, oh boy, 100 work days left. I've got some big goals. I'm not quite where I want to be. One of the things that your brain is going to tell you is, well, if you just managed time better, then you'd be able to fit everything in and you'd be able to make progress towards those goals. I'm willing to guess you have more work on your plate than you can get done. So better time management isn't the solution. It can be part of the solution or the equation, but I have some ideas about what's missing from time management. There's an important ingredient that people don't often consider that can really make a change. So it's not just about time management, it's time management plus this other ingredient. And if you'd like to know what that ingredient is, just put ingredient in the comments and I'll get you some information about that. But the other thing you can do is take this free positive intelligence saboteur assessment. Again, that's at positiveintelligence.com/saboteurs. And you can learn which are the main saboteurs holding you back. And then if you would like a conversation about how those saboteurs may actually be impacting your performance, your well-being, and your relationships, I'd be happy to talk with you about it. All that you need to do is just go to the links in my featured section or wherever else it is that you're listening in from, and schedule some time with me. Would love to see how your emotional saboteurs are holding you back and what we might be able to do to get you on track to not only reach those goals you've set for 2024, but maybe even think bigger for 2025. All right. Now I'd love to open it up to questions. Anybody has any questions about positive intelligence, about reaching goals? One thing I forgot to mention is that I do have a free guide that has additional strategies in it to help you master peak performance and work-life excellence. So if you're interested in that, just put guide in the comments and I'll be happy to send that to you. Thanks so much for joining me today. I will be back tomorrow because I understand the saboteurs that held me back yesterday. Worked with my, my brain a little bit, become more self-aware, extended myself some self-compassion, and now I'll be ready for my third life. I hope you have a great day.